Hello and welcome to episode 9 of Local to Global 2004. We're back with Emerald Pro Wrestling. Last episode we made a fumble. We bought a company, which means that we are now 55,000 in debt, and the popularity, which was the reason we did it, has shrunk back down to 6. So that's not ideal. What is good though is that we're only 5 popularity in the Northwest away from, if I can look at the broadcasters, getting on YouTube. They just need 25. We'll need to update our up our production and broadcast quality. But I think that will be worth it. How much broadcast quality will be? 500 per night. So that'd be 1,000 a month. Okay. And production values will be like 700 per month. Okay, that's gonna cost a lot of money. But anyway, we are on the 7th of May 2006. We are here for Lightning, EMPW Lightning, the 2nd edition. So let's just jump into it. Last episode, actually. My cat's just come and rub her face all over my hand that's holding the microphone, because I don't have a stand for it, so I have to hold it every time. Last episode we had Tony Jones defeating B-Boy in the main event, Claudio defeated Nigel McGuinness, and Scott Lost defeated Adam Pearce, and all 3 of them are vying for a shot at Sean Davari, which is very exciting. So we are going to give the night off to some people. We are going to give the night off to anyone who is a major star. Does it say anywhere on here? Is recognizable. There we go. Unimportant, recognizable. Star, that's fine. Unimportant. Just anyone who is a major star who we're not going to be using. Okay, Sarah Del Rey. We'll give her the night off. Why not? She's worked hard. Sean Davari, we will use Sean Davari, and Tony Jones we will be using as well. Pepsi, I love you, bud, but you're right next to my mouse. She has not been anywhere near me all morning, and now as soon as I start recording, she's like, Charlie, let me come say hi. But she's very cute, so we let her off, and we love her. We're expecting 199 fans, so we're going to stick with the Arco Recreation Hall. Hopefully, we can sell it out. Fingers crossed. Booking team meeting, we've got 114 energy. Let's get a creative finish, and let's get a character idea as well, actually. That's good, because I want to give it to Steve Bradley, because he's a little bit upset with us. Miyaki France. Any relation to Yardi France? Possibly. I don't know. He speaks fluent Japanese. He's currently unemployed. What do you want? Sorry, there isn't a spot for you. Greg Valentine is training 7 women and 8 men. April Hunter bought pizza. What a legend. And that is done. Let's do some team bonding. Nothing happened. Great. Okay, I am going to go and book the show. And I'll be back in just 1 second with EMPW Lightning. And we're back. We have 3 pre-show matches today. The first one is Brody Lee and Sean Davari taking on Steve Bradley and Tony Jones. Even though I said I would be using both of them, I actually didn't. So I put them in a pre-show match. We then have Candice LeRae taking on Serena Deeb in LeRae's first match since Showcase. And then our final pre-show match is Etsuko Mita and Gami of the Joshi Warriors taking on April Hunter and Lufisto. We then start off with a women's triple threat match, Natty Neidhart versus Beth Phoenix versus Amazing Kong, and then Kong signals for the belt afterwards. We then have Scott Lost versus Mikey Henderson, and then we have Scott Lost cutting a promo before Claudio Castagnoli takes on B-Boy in the main event. So let's get into it. It is Steve Bradley and Tony Jones, actually, who pick up the win when Steve Bradley pins Brody Lee. This got a 52, which is pretty good. Sean Davari and Tony Jones both getting a 60. Brody Lee getting a 30, which is real good for him. And Steve Bradley getting a 39. And the Davari is undeniable storyline advance with this segment. We then head on to Candice LeRae in her first match back, and she picks up the win in just under 10 minutes over Serena Deeb with a heartbreaker. 27 and 20 in-ring performances, 24. It's fine. It's kind of what we come to expect at the moment. Then in the... Oh, no. Oh, that's not ideal. We then have the Joshi Warriors, Etsuko Mita and Gami, picking up the win when Etsuko Mita pinned LuFisto with a Death Valley bomb. Gami and Mita both got 28s, and they were both rusty, which is not... It's good signs. Hopefully that will be the last rusty match. LuFisto got a 33, which is good, and April Hunter got a 36, which is also good. Segment overall got a 33. And Etsuko Mita and Gami don't work well as a team, so... we will not be putting them in tag team matches anymore, I guess. We then head on to the first match of the main show. And in the triple threat match, it is the Amazing Kong who beats Natty Neidhart and Beth Phoenix after she pins Beth Phoenix with an awesome bomb. It was chaotic, which helped hide how badly Beth Phoenix and Amazing Kong were performing. But Natty Neidhart got a 39, which is really good. Beth Phoenix a 29 and Amazing Kong a 32. This gets a 37 altogether. Amazing Kong's still rusty with the 32. So, again, it's looking good for, you know, if these three women are the three women that we try and build around going forward, it's looking pretty good. Hopefully we won't have to just rely on Sarah Del Rey going forward for the women's division. But, you know, we're getting there. We then have Amazing Kong. After Del Rey's words at New Dawn, if you remember, Sarah Del Rey basically said that the Joshi Warriors were all cowards. They attacked her from behind, and then none of them came out to challenge her in the open challenge. Kong signals that the Joshi Warriors are coming for the belt. It's got a 40 rating. Love that. Good job. Awesome. Amazing Kong. She's not awesome yet. We then head into Scott Lost versus Mikey Henderson, and it is Scott Lost who picks up the win in just over 17 minutes by pinfall with a breaking point. Scott Lost got a 52, which is really good. Mikey Henderson had a 37. The bout dragged in the middle, so I guess they've both got low psychology, but they have great chemistry, which is nice. It's got a 39 overall. Kind of hoping for a little bit more, but Scott Lost getting a 52 is real good. Very happy with that. We then head into a promo. Love this. Scott Lost grabs a mic and cuts an impassioned promo saying that he's been grinding, and now it's his time. He wants Sean Davari, and he wants him as soon as possible. As he comes to an end and he's walking up the ramp, Claudio comes out for his match. He stops, looks Scott Lost up and down before pushing past him on the ramp. It's got a 42 overall. The storyline lost a bit of heat, but that's okay. But Scott Lost worked the crowd well. You love to see it. I'm so glad we're getting some people in who are decent at promos. Yeah, it was rough at the start, wasn't it? When everyone was getting like 21 promos. They still are, really. Tony Jones is still doing that, but oh well. We then head into the main event. Hell yes. And in about that had great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Claudio Castagnoli defeats B-Boy. B-Boy now on a 2-match losing streak by pinfall with the Gotcha Neutralizer. It's got a 61 overall. Claudio got a 33 but was off his game. B-Boy got a 68. God damn, he's good. And he has a gimmick that's getting stale, so we will need to tweak that. But a 61 for the main event is great. We got a 54 overall. Popularity increased. Amazing Kong was used too much, but that's fine. We will single out B-Boy and Scott Lost and give them... Both of them seem pleased. We lost 529 on the night, which is fine, and we did go up to 21 popularity, which, hey, you love to see. 21 popularity is pretty good. For where we're at, we're only 2 years old, the company. Actually, like 2 years and a month old, so that's pretty good. I cannot remember off the top of my head what the next show is. Okay. I was trying to bring in Wally Yamaguchi as the manager for the Joshi Warriors because he speaks fluent English. He is Japanese. I offered him a 9-month deal. He didn't want it. So let's do... Okay, you can be events and ATV shows only. And hopefully he will say yes to that now. Beth Phoenix is going to be a star. I agree, Claudio. Yeah, that is... I was going to say that's all. That's not all. Shockwave is the next show. Last year we got a 59, which I still think is like our best show of all time. Yeah, we got 3 59s. All very good. Showcase 2006, this year getting a 58. Top matches are still... It's Tony Jones and B-Boy. B-Boy and Tony Jones. B-Boy and Tony Jones. Sean Davari and Tony Jones. B-Boy, B-Boy, Tony Jones, B-Boy. B-Boy. B-Boy is in all of the top 10 matches apart from number 4. What a legend. And I'm rewarding him by making him lose all his matches. But hey, look, there's a plan. There's a plan for everything. We are just going to tweak his gimmick because it's got a great rating. That should get rid of that negative. And we are just going to skip on forward to Shockwave, and I will see you in just 1 second. And we're back. It is the 21st of May 2006. We are here for Shockwave. Wally Yamaguchi bid fails. He doesn't want to be tied down to a lengthy deal. I tried to offer him an ongoing one, but that stayed the same. So we have put in an offer for Hiroko Suzuki, who has pretty decent performance skills, not a wrestler, and speaks fluent English and Japanese. So she will hopefully come in as the mouthpiece of the Joshi Warriors so we can actually get them in some promos because Amazing Kong doesn't talk. What can you do? I mean, I could have looked into it beforehand, but that's not how we do things. We're not going to give anyone the night off. We're expecting 217 fans. Let's go. Let's bump this up to 300. And we'll bump that one up to 200 and see what we got. So all of these are 300. So which one sounds good? Let's do Soda Springs High School. That sounds fun. We have got 100. I actually meant to look to see if a bit of a gamble. Let's do it. Why not? Let's go crazy. A big gamble we're just going to get rid of. To see if anyone else can join the booking team. I'll have a look in a sec. Beth Phoenix and Claudio Castagnoli have been getting on particularly well. Greg Valentine is training 8 women and 8 men. You love to see it. And we will... Let's inspire. Why not? We want everyone on their A game. Let's go into booking team real quick and see, is there anyone else who can come in? There was Scott Lost, but he had awful chemistry with everyone involved. So no. And while we're here, we'll have a quick look at the inner circle. Still don't have any locker room leaders. Still don't have a chief enforcer or a head of talent relations. I don't like morale officer. A good travel organizer due to the extra workload. I was like, we don't really need a travel organizer. We're not traveling anywhere. Okay, cool. I am going to book the show, and we'll be back in just 1 second. And we're back. We've got 2 pre-show matches tonight. Claudio Castagnoli, Tony Jones, and Scott Lost taking on Adam Pearce, Mikey Henderson, and B-Boy. So all 3 of the people vying for the Men's Emerald Championship teaming up tonight. We then have Cheerleader Melissa and Beth Phoenix taking on Natty Neidhart and Candice LeRae. We then head into Gammy versus Sarah Del Rey for the Emerald Women's Championship with some post-match scenes. Nigel McGuinness versus Yardi France. Davari refusing the challenge. We then have El Hijo del Chupacabra versus Sean Davari before our main event segment, Greg Valentine, gets involved. Let's just jump into it. So, in a lovely little match, decent reaction from the crowd and great wrestling, it is Claudio, Tony, and Scott who pick up the win when Claudio pinned Mikey Henderson after a Cesaro or a Claudio swing. Castagnoli swing, who knows. Scott Lost had a 53, Tony Jones had a 59, Claudio a 41, which is really good for him, B-Boy 66, Mikey Henderson 41, really good for him, and Adam Pearce a 39, gets a 55 overall, an actually really good match, and Daivari's undeniable storyline advanced with this segment and gained heat. We then move into a very good women's match as well. It is Natty Neidhart and Candice LeRae defeating cheerleader Melissa and Beth Phoenix in 10 minutes and 7 seconds when Natty Neidhart submitted cheerleader Melissa with a sharpshooter. Natty did, in fact, carry the match in terms of in-ring performance, getting a 43. Candice LeRae a 32, again, really good for her. Cheerleader Melissa a 31 and Beth Phoenix a 30, getting a 37 overall. I feel like we're doing a good job of like slowly building up the roster, especially on the women's side, which I'm very happy about. We then head into the opening match. And in about that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Sarah Del Rey picks up defense number 18, defeating Gammy with a spike pile driver. The match was designed to be chaotic and full of action in order to get the crowd going. Sarah Del Rey makes defense number 18 of the Women's Championship. I already said that. It's got a 43, which is not too bad. Gammy had a 35, but was off her game and rusty, so that's looking real good. Sarah Del Rey had a 55. The women's title storyline gained heat. Creative finish was a failure, but that's okay. Sarah Del Rey used subtle mannerisms to hint at a future face turn. Dun dun dun. Got the match off to a strong start and got the crowd buzzing, which we love to see. We then head into a full-on beatdown. After the match, Kong and Mita were both at ringside for that match. And after the match, Kong and Mita storm the ring and attack Sarah Del Rey, leaving her beaten and bruised in the ring. This gets a 37. Sarah Del Rey kind of maybe getting a little taste of her own medicine with this. Who knows? We then head into our mid-card match, which is really nice, actually. Nigel McGuinness picking up the win over Yardy France with a Tower of London. Nigel McGuinness getting a 46. Yardy France a 49. And Nigel McGuinness getting better at his gimmick, which we love to see. It's got a 50 overall. Really nice little mid-card match. And we then head into a Sean Daivari promo where he grabs a mic and says that he's not interested in taking on any of the men that are currently vying for his championship. He's beaten Claudio before. He's beaten Tony before. And Scott just doesn't even deserve his time. He says that he is a fighting champion, though, and he will answer an open challenge against anyone else in the back tonight. It's got a 56 rating. Lovely. Daivari's undeniable storyline advanced, and Sean Daivari was superb without a script, which you love to see. Then that match, a pretty good match actually. Sean Daivari defeats El Hijo del Chupacabra in 14 minutes and 3 seconds with a flying leg drop. Sean Daivari makes defense number 2 of the Emerald Championship. El Hijo del Chupacabra got a 24, Sean Daivari got a 66, and the creative finish was a success, which gets a 59 overall, which is a pretty good main event for us. Not the best, obviously, but for like this is the kind of thing that would be a good like TV show main event. And it's just the fact of trying to do slightly longer stories while also only having 2 shows a month. It's quite difficult sometimes to get the not every show can have like a huge main event, but this one's pretty good. We then head into a final segment where Greg Valentine comes to the top of the ramp and congratulates Daivari on his win. However, he thinks it's cowardly that he didn't even give Lost, Castagnoli or Jones a chance. So next month I meant to add in the show that's next because I couldn't remember what it was, at ... whichever one it is, he won't face any of them. He'll face all of them in a fatal 4-way. Daivari loses his mind. Brody Lee starts storming up the ramp to get his hands on Greg Valentine. Daivari's undeniable storyline advance has got a 54, and Greg Valentine improvised well. A nice little show, 56. A very solid, very consistent show, I think. Yeah, 43, and then everything else in the 50s, apart from... Yeah, it was a good show. Not nothing world-beating, but everything very good. We will give the S's some love, to Sean and Sarah, and we'll compliment them on a great performance. They were both happy and pleased. We lost $448, which isn't too bad. We went up to 22 popularity, which is great. That means we went up twice this month. beautiful. I did a little sassy snap. Sassy snap. That would be a good name for a photo company who takes like cool artsy pictures of people being sassy. Anyway, finances wise, we are currently making 63. From sponsors, we're expecting another $1,500, which is good actually. Merchandise, hopefully we'll make a little bit more. But we will be back on the 4th of June for another episode of Lightning. I think we'll do, going forward, at least for the time being, I think we'll do like 2 Lightnings and 2 pay-per-views, or 2 like main events in each episode now. And hopefully soon we will be able to get on TV, although we might not be able to because of the money side of things. Hey, Scott Steiner's TNA World Champion. You love to see it. I will be back in just 1 second. That was Pepsi, if you heard that. She's saying hi. And yeah, I'll see you in a sec. And we're back. It is the 4th of June. We are here for Lightning. I don't know why I did that. I hated that. But hey, I did it. What are you going to do about it? We have officially signed... that's not what I wanted. I wanted our roster. Where is she? Hiroko Suzuki. She is officially in. She is set to debut her Geisha Girl gimmick, which I don't really like. I'm gonna adjust the gimmick. What's she good at? She plays gimmicky, cartoonishly, Weasley underdog, realistic. Let's give her a realistic goal. One. Realistic. Okay, include unsuited ones. Do it. Okay. Apparently there aren't any. There just aren't any realistic ones. Okay. Maybe I'll just rename the one to like Mastermind. She's gonna be the mastermind behind the stable. Lovely. So yeah, let's just jump into it. Do we want to give people the night off? Nah. 218 fans. Let's keep it to Soda Springs. I like Soda Springs. Is that what I actually did last time? I can't remember. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, let's get locked in. 127. Near certainty for B-Boy. Let's do I forgot to put the character idea on. I was like, I want to do the character idea so I can give it to Steve Bradley and then he won't be angry. And then I just forgot. Let's do some meddling between. Can I meddle with myself? No. Okay. Let's try and get B-Boy and Tony Jones to be best buds. It's unlikely to do much, but we're not doing anything else. Okay, let's go to the roster and Steve Bradley. He now has normal morale, which you love to see. Because he won. Hey, that's all it takes. In that case, let's have a look at anyone who is got negative morale. It's just Eddie Colon, and I don't really care. But I might as well give him one. It was a success. And now we have no one annoyed. Lovely. So what about anyone who... Where's Momentum? Max Momentum. Cooled. Adam Pearce. Amazing Kong. Gammy. I think let's do Amazing Kong. Let's try and get her... Nope. Creative idea. Let's try and get her some momentum. It was a success. She now has... Warm momentum. That's a difficult word to say. Right, I'm going to book the show. I will be back in just 1 second. Do not go anywhere. And we're back with Lightning. Just the one pre-show match today. El Hijo del Chupacabra and Kryptonite taking on Adam Pearce and Mikey Henderson. We then have the Joshi Warriors in full taking on April Hunter, Candice LeRae, and Natty Neidhart. And then we have some post-match scenes. We then have Steve Bradley taking on Nigel McGuinness with some then backstage scenes. And our main event, Claudio Castagnoli versus Tony Jones ahead of the Fatal 4-Way at Hotter Than Hell. So... first match, it is Adam Pearce and Mikey Henderson who pick up the win when Adam Pearce pinned El Hijo del Chupacabra with a spike pile driver. Got a 35 overall. Kryptonite had a 35. El Hijo de Chupacabra had a 32, Mikey Henderson 34, and Adam Pearce a 37. Adam Pearce and Mikey Henderson don't work well as a team, which is good to know going forward. We then have the big opening match, the Joshi Warriors versus April Hunter, Candice LeRae, and Natty Neidhart, and it is the Joshi Warriors who pick up the win in 14 minutes and 16 seconds when Amazing Kong pinned Candice LeRae with an implant buster. Gami got a 47, damn. Etsuko Mita a 40. Amazing Kong a 35, but she's still rusty. I don't think anyone else is still rusty. They're not, which is lovely. Natty Neidhart a 39. Candice LeRae a 33. April Hunter a 38. 44 overall. This is the women's division we want to be bloody seeing, isn't it? That's lovely. The chaos of the match helped Amazing Kong, April Hunter, and Candice LeRae, but that is absolutely fine. Hopefully that is the last Amazing Kong time she'll be rusty, and she can hopefully push the 40 region. Hell yeah. We then move straight into a promo, which was really bad. Hiroko Suzuki comes out to the ramp and introduces herself. She says that she is the mastermind behind the Joshi Warriors, and she has sent them here to take over women's wrestling. Sarah Del Rey was always saying how EMPW is where the best women wrestle, and Hiroko Suzuki is here to make sure that claim is true. The first step is taking out the women's champion, but since she's not out in the ring, these women will have to do. She signals to the Joshi Warriors, who grab weapons and attack the trio, leaving them in a similar state to Del Rey at Shockwave. Part 1 was an 8. Awful. She was terrible without a script. That is absolutely fine. I can remember that going forward. Part 2, which was the beatdown, was 35. So the beatdown bit was okay. It was just the actual promo, which is annoying because I brought her in literally to be the mouthpiece. But anyway, she debuted her mastermind gimmick, which was adequate. The women's title lost heat. 22. What can you do? We learn these things. We then move into the second match of the evening, Nigel McGuinness versus Steve Bradley, and it is Nigel McGuinness who picks up the win with the Tower of London. Nigel McGuinness on a nice little run at the moment, getting a 48 rating in ring. Steve Bradley gets a 42 in the segment, overall another 48. So pretty decent little mid-card match here. We then move into some backstage scenes where Sarah Del Rey enters the women's locker room to find Candice, April, and Natty recovering from their beatdown. She stands awkwardly before saying that she knows she's been terrible to them. She controlled the division with an iron fist, and she was especially bad to Candice. She says she's sorry and only wanted to foster a competitive atmosphere, but she can see now that she went too far. She wants the women to work together to take down the Joshi Warriors. Candice pushes to the front, looks Del Rey up and down, and then walks out of the room shaking her head. Natty and April look at Sarah Del Rey, shrug, and follow Candice out of the room. It's got a 39, which is a pretty good promo. Sarah Del Rey worked well. April Hunter didn't do well without a script, but she also didn't say anything, so I didn't think that would matter, unless I put it in the road agent notes wrong. I can't. Okay, who knows? So Sarah Del Rey trying to get April Hunter, Candice LeRae, and Natty Neidhart on board. Who is this going to go down well? It seems seemingly not. We then head into the main event of the evening, Claudio Castagnoli versus Tony Jones. And in a beat that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, Tony Jones picks up the win with a holy shoot after Sean Daivari interfered and distracted or attacked Claudio Castagnoli. Claudio got a 36, Tony Jones got a 53, and the Daivari's undeniable storyline lost heat, which is a shame. Segment got a 49 overall, which is a 44, which is not our best show by any means, but we're still gaining popularity. Basically every woman apart from Candice LeRae was overused. But hey, we're getting them up there. We're getting them up from being like whatever they're called, unimportant to recognizable or whatever. We're doing that. We're going to give Nigel McGuinness and Tony Jones some praise. They both seemed pleased. We lost 674, but we did go up to 23 popularity, which you love to see. Damn, it's weird seeing Ishii with hair. That's thrown me off. I've never seen that man not be insanely bold. Okay, anyway. We are going to head on to Hotter Than... Apologies if you can hear the rain as well. It started to really heavily rain. We are going to move on to Hotter Than Hell in 2 weeks' time, where we will have the Fatal 4-Way for the championship. I think this has probably historically been our worst show ever. Yeah, it definitely has. So let's try and get a good Hotter Than Hell in the books. And then next episode, we will start off with the Emerald Invitational, which is always fun. I think so anyway. See you in a sec. And we're back. It's the 18th of June. Is it just me or has Nelly walked in? Because it's getting hot in here. Because it's hotter than hell. Woo! That was a good one, wasn't it? Yeah. That was the best joke anyone has ever told. By the way, if you're enjoying the episode, please like it and subscribe and all that good stuff. We're not going to give anyone the night off. We are going to stay at Soda Springs, baby. 230 fans expected. God damn it. Unfortunately, some of the equipment you use to run shows has been sent to the wrong place. The live event can still go ahead, but there'll be a small penalty to your overall show rating. Great. Let's get a creative finish. Tony Jones. Let's get a... Do we want a story? Let's get a character idea. A bit of a gamble. Okay. And let's... gimmick ideas 50. Okay. Let's get a storyline idea then. A safe bet. Lovely. I've not used the storyline idea before. Greg Valentine runs training for 8 women and 8 men. Brody Lee has an angle idea. Love that. Gammy helped create an atmosphere backstage when she pulled a rib on the entire locker room. Ooh, B-Boy and April Hunter dating, smoochy smoochin'. Let's do some team bonding again. Nothing came of it. Great. Sweet. Why even bother? Last year we got a 39, and the year before that we got a 41. So let's really try and get this going. This is extremely hot. Let's deploy a creative idea on this one. It will impact the storyline the next time it advances. Okay, cool. What else do we have? Brody Lee angle idea is extremely risky. I'm sorry, Brody. We're just going to delete that. B-Boy creative finish, character idea, storyline idea, which we've just used, and Tony Jones creative finish. Okay, cool. Sweet. I'm going to book this show, and we will be right back. See you in a sec. And we're back. One pre-show match today, El Hijo de Chupacabra, Yardy France and Kryptonite versus Adam Pearce, B-Boy and Mikey Henderson. We then have the open challenge, Etsuko Mita versus Sarah Del Rey. Then we have some post-match scenes. We then have Nigel McGuinness trying to continue his storm towards the top of the card, taking on Chris Chetty. And the main event, the big fatal 4-way, Claudio Castagnoli versus Scott Lost versus Tony Jones versus Sean Davari. Let's just jump into it. So, a lovely little opening pre-show match. But it is the faces who pick up the win when Yardy France pins Mikey Henderson with a shooting star press. B-Boy was head and shoulders above everyone else. Of course he was. He got a 64. Kryptonite a 32. Yardy France a 46. El Hijo de Chupacabra 27, but he was really off its game. Mikey Henderson a 38 and Adam Pearce a 38. And Yardy France has a gimmick that's getting stale. It's got a 48 overall, which is a pretty good pre-show match. But now we're just heading straight into the main card, and that is one hell of a match. Beautiful. In a bout that had great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, Sarah Del Rey defeats Etsuko Mita in 14 minutes 29 by pinfall with a spike pile driver. Sarah Del Rey makes defense number 19 of the Emerald Women's Championship. Etsuko Mita gets a 41, Sarah Del Rey a 54. The women's title storyline has advanced and gained heat. The storyline idea was a success. They have pretty good chemistry. Gammy has received a morale boost because of the successful storyline, which you love to see. It's got a 48 overall, which is just a great way to start the match, start the show even. We then head into, after the match, the Joshi Warriors surround the ring, stopping Del Rey from escaping. They then swarm the ring and start to beat down Sarah Del Rey when Natty Neidhart comes running out from the back to the ring to try and hold them off. However, the two of them are still outnumbered and fall victim to the Joshi Warriors. This gets a 35. We lost heat again on the segment, on the storyline. That's okay. Maybe I should have saved it until like right at the end to give it a little boost before ending the storyline. Who knows? Anyway, we then move on to Nigel McGuinness again picking up a win against Chris Chetty with a Tower of London. This got a 47 overall. Nigel McGuinness getting a 52, and Chris Chetty with an in-ring performance of 33, which isn't too bad. Nigel McGuinness, I love. He's great, isn't he? And now we are heading into the main event, the Fatal 4-Way. Claudio Castagnoli, Scott Lost, Tony Jones, and Sean Daivari. And it gets a 60-6. Let's go. So in a match that had superb wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, Sean Daivari picks up the win after pinning Scott Lost with a magic carpet ride. This is defense number 3 for Sean Daivari, but that doesn't tell the whole story. Okay, let me regale you. So it's a fatal 4-way, no DQs. Brody Lee at ringside is just in the match the whole time, taking people out, helping Daivari as much as he can. When Daivari gets taken out with a holy shoot by Tony Jones, he rolls to the outside of the ring. Scott Lost hits his finisher on Tony Jones. Tony Jones rolls to the outside of the ring. Claudio then hits the Gotch neutralizer on Scott Lost. Goes to pin him. 1, 2, but Brody Lee has thrown Sean Daivari back into the ring. He grabs him by... Brody Lee follows him in, grabs Claudio, chucks him out the ring, and Sean Daivari covers Scott Lost for the 1, 2, 3. It wasn't with a magic carpet ride. It was off a stolen pin with a Gotch neutralizer. 66 is lovely. Claudio gets a 47, which is his best performance by far. Scott Lost a 50. Tony Jones and Sean Daivari both 62. The Daivari is undeniable storyline advanced and gained heat. The creative finish was a success. Match got the crowd buzzing. Let's go. What an end to the show. 54. Your show appeared weird. Oh, of course. Imagine if we didn't have the pre-show problems. We would have got higher. But still, our popularity went up. And Etsuko Mita was used too much and Chris Chetty was used too much. But what are you going to do? Not use them? I don't think so. I don't think so. We're going to give Etsuko Mita... That was my Elastigirl impression, apparently. That's where my brain went. And we'll give Sean Daivari. He won. He put in a great performance. Mita seemed pleased. Daivari was pleased. We lost $330 on the show. We didn't go up in popularity, so we are still 2 away from getting that TV deal. We are in so much debt. I'm a bit worried that we're just going to go bankrupt. I don't really know how it works, but we've got 3 years, so we've still got another 2 years to sort it out. But yeah, last month we did make 724, so we're getting closer to 1,000. Then we just need 54 months, and we'll be back to 0. God, that was so dumb. Carrie Silkin has been removed as the CEO of ROH. Why? What did you do? He doesn't even have good booking skill. He's got good business reputation, but not worth it. So yeah, that's the show. That's the show. Claudio Castagnoli, what am I doing? I'm so sorry. Show history. Claudio Castagnoli, so close. 1 second away from winning the Emerald Championship, having it stolen by his old rival Sean Daivari. Nigel McGuinness on a tear up the card. Sarah Del Rey feeling bad about her past, trying to get all the women together. Who knows where it's all going to go. But if you've enjoyed the episode, thank you so much for watching. I'll be back soon with another one. Episode 10 will be in double digits. Crazy. If you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, all that good stuff. And I'll see you on the next episode very soon. Bye.